I'm Robert Williams from MetalRules.com, and joining me tonight in Austin, Texas, is Morgan, guitarist and mastermind of Marduk, Black Metal Warriors from Sweden. How are you doing today, Morgan?
Feeling good, so it's a pleasure to be here, you know.
So it's been almost a decade since you did a comprehensive tour of the United States for the Le Grand Danse Macabre record. How does it feel to finally be back in the States again?
Yeah, for us it's a great triumph to finally be back after all the problems we had with papers, and you cannot believe it, you know. And also sometimes you get off for a tour, it's like 1.5 months before it starts, and for us it would take an enormous time to get everything sorted with paper, to get the visas. And even applying for a visa you need to have the full tour schedule, so therefore it's like a moment 22 sometimes. But finally we were getting all this sorted out, and this spring, you know, we was going to come over for the Blackenfest, and we were secured, we were told we would get our visas in time, and 3 of us got it, and our vocalist didn't get his visa in time, and in the very last minute they wanted some more information from him, and they wanted some of his paper translated to English, which they didn't want from us other guys, so he had to fix that and go back. And then they said like, oh, we cannot say how long time it's going to take, so he got his visa and it was 3 days left of that tour.
Wow.
And that is a bit annoying because, you know, we fixed the tickets and planned everything for the tour, and also everybody, local promoters, fans, everybody getting fucked up, you know. So, but after we got them, we went over this August and did 3 shows. We played Philadelphia, Washington, no we didn't, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and New York.
Yeah. And
just as to prove that we finally are able to come over, and therefore now it's a great pleasure to be here and doing a full tour, you know.
So you're introducing the lineup to the Americans for the first time, and you got a brand new album, Wormwood, out through Regain Records. What would you like to say about the 10 songs featured on Wormwood?
I would like to say, I think they very much speak for themselves. I would like everybody to take the chance to listen to it and let it grasp you and see what it means to them, you know. I think it very much speaks for itself, the album.
Lyrically, what was your inspiration this time around?
I would say more or less the same as it always have been, but in a different way, I would say, in a different approach. But as I said, I think that I should recommend everybody to really read the lyrics and make up their own mind and see how the lyrics speak to them.
On this album, this is your 3rd one that you recorded at In Darker Studio.
Yes.
Of course, your bass player Devo studio. How would you compare that experience to, say, working with Peter Tegtren from The Abyss?
Of course, that was also great to work with him back in the days when we worked with, I mean, we did 4 albums, I think, with him, so of course we were satisfied to work with him, but of course you need to change things once in a while, and we felt that the time was right to do something different for us, because we wanted a bit of a different sound, because a lot of the productions from the Abbey studio have a tendency to sound more or less the same. So we decided to do something different, and I think it's really relaxed to record in a studio in your own hometown. You can go in when you're really in the mood for it, and we can go in and work for 3 days in a row if we want to, and work 24 hours a day, or we can go back home for a week and go back when we're really in the mood for it. I mean, when you record in another studio, you have to travel away and, you know, record during, what should I say, office time, you know, and we don't find that really inspiring. So therefore, we think this is a situation that works very much better for us.
So since the last time you were over, starting on the Plague Angel album, the Panzer Division lineup is gone, and in comes a returning Devo and Mortis. Let's start with the Panzer Division lineup. What were the reasons that they, both Legion and B-War, left, and you got replacements?
I mean, when you work together for many years, you change what you want to do, and some people are not that dedicated to what we are doing anymore, and of course then you have to leave the ship and leave place for somebody else, because I personally need to work with people that are dedicated and loyal and have a burning desire to do what we do, otherwise it's no meaning to do it, you know.
And did you keep in contact with Devo over the years? What were the circumstances for him returning? Yeah,
we were keeping in contact a bit during the year, maybe not the first 2-3 years, but then later on, I mean, he had his studio, and I did some remastering of some earlier recordings in his studio, and we met up at shows and things like that. So when it was about time that the B-War was leaving the band, it just felt natural for him to come back, you know.
And how did you find your new vocalist?
It was when I knew we were about to change vocalist, there was actually only one vocalist that I was interested in, and that was him. So I just set out to get him, and that's what I did.
Tell me about when your former albums like Nightwing, you know, were dealing with Vlad the Impaler, more of a concept album, or Panzer Division, more World War II. What is it about those themes that intrigued you to write about them?
I mean, I think it's natural that you have certain inspiration. Some things just talk to you in a way, and they inspire you so much that you want to write the soundtrack to those happenings, I would say.
And throughout all of your work with Marduk, you can definitely see the deep-seated hatred that you have for Christianity. Where do you think that comes from?
I think it's natural when you live in Sweden or all parts of the world that you see things, how everything works around you, and you see where your loyalty, where your dedication is, and what you like and don't like.
I wanted to get your take on Satanism. Do you view Satan in a more theistic sense as a physical deity, or do you view Satan as more a philosophy, like a word meaning freedom?
For me, it's a combination of them both.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about the Partisan Open Air Festival that you guys performed the Panzer Division album in its entirety. Did you by chance record that for a DVD?
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it's recorded for a DVD, but we recorded the full show because they recorded all the shows going on there. So we have the full recording, yes. But I don't know if it will be released in its fully or part-wise, or time shall tell about that. There's nothing being planned right now anyway.
How did it feel to play those songs on stage again?
It was great because it was 10 years since the album was released, and this was Panzer Division Marduk's year 2009, you know. Stronger in body and mind than ever before, so it was a great pleasure to go up on stage and just do that album. And then we did a full, complete other set as well, you know, with a combination of songs from every album, so it was a blast.
And you also recently worked with your former vocalist, Joachim Gothberg, on Cold Mouth Prayer. What were the circumstances that led to that? Actually,
it was our new vocalist Mortus's idea to do it, because he thought that he was one of the best voices there were earlier on in Marduk, and since it was a long time ago, and why not have a guest appearance by an older vocalist, you know, and I thought it was a great idea as well. So I spoke to Joachim. We still live in the same city, and he was very flattered to do it. So for me it was magic to be sitting in the studio, you know, and watch both vocalists performing together, you know.
Well, speaking of collaborations, and this is more hypothetical than anything, but you also have another band, Devil's Whorehouse, that of course started out as a Misfits cover band, and it's no secret that Glenn Danzig himself is a big fan of your music. Could you ever see the two of you working on something together?
Yeah, you never know for the future. You never know. But of course I would not mind. I mean, he's one of those great artists out there that I have fully respect for, because he's always done what he wants to do and don't care what others think, you know, just follow his own will, and that's the way it should be.
Did you build a pretty good camaraderie on the Black Tour?
Actually, we didn't do any Blackest of the Black Tour, but we did a tour together with him in Europe consisting of 10 dates in 2002. But that was a great pleasure to see him play every night, you know, and be able to tour with him. It worked very well.
And Devil's Whorehouse, you guys just released something this past May, right?
Yeah.
How's that going?
Yeah, it's going well, but it's something, it's more of a studio band in perspective. We do a few live shows now and then, but we'll see. Maybe it will be more live shows in the future, you know.
Why did you transition from guitar to bass on that band?
Yeah, because I wanted to change a bit in the lineup, and then I found a guitar player that I liked, so I switched to bass, and for me it's great to do something different than I do in Marduk.
I know you're a busy guy, Morgan, but I wanted to ask you, how did you originally get into heavy metal music? What were the bands that changed your life?
I think when I was really young, and the first bands that I really got into was probably Kiss, Iron Maiden, Accept, Dio, things like that, and then you started to look through for more extreme music, you know, and in all different directions, you know.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk about it, Morgan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.